This is not tax advice, and this is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Today we're going to discuss lawful money redemption. What is it, and what is the nature of our monetary system that we're using? What are Federal Reserve notes? And so lawful money redemption, I'm sure you've heard this term. What is it? Is it taking your Federal Reserve notes and going to a Federal Reserve bank and demanding lawful money? No, it's not. Okay, so I want to clear this up because this can be a very empowering information to take in. But we have to first understand, what are we getting paid in? We're getting paid in Federal Reserve notes. Okay, Federal Reserve notes. Let's look to the Federal Reserve Act and let's look to the United States Code to figure out what we're getting paid in exactly. Okay, that is the first step. Let's look at the definitions, okay? And then we can see how lawful money demand is put into there as well, okay? So what is a Federal Reserve note? Does anyone know? A Federal Reserve note, is that lawful money? No, it's not. The Federal Reserve note, according to Section 16, Clause 1 of the Federal Reserve Act, it refers to Federal Reserve notes as obligations, okay? The said notes shall be obligations of the United States and shall be receivable by all national and member banks and Federal Reserve banks and for all taxes, customs, and other public dues. They shall be redeemed in lawful money on demand at the Treasury Department of the United States in the City of Washington, District of Columbia, or any Federal Reserve bank. Okay? So did you get that? How they said Federal Reserve notes, the said notes shall be obligations, okay? And they shall be redeemed in lawful money. So what does that mean? What's an obligation? An obligation is a debt, okay? So then it says they shall be redeemed in lawful money, okay? Now let's go to the definition of obligation. We go to 18 U.S. Code Subsection 8. Okay, the term obligation or other security of the United States includes all bonds, certificates of indebtedness, national bank currency, Federal Reserve notes, Federal Reserve bank notes, coupons, etc. Okay, so the United States Code states that obligations are exempt from taxation. Okay, we go to 31 United States Code, subsection 3124. It states, stocks and obligations of the United States government are exempt from taxation by a state or political subdivision of a state. Okay, so let's rewind. We defined what Federal Reserve notes are according to the Federal Reserve Act, right? They shall be obligations, all right? And then we go to 18 U.S. Code subsection 8. What is an obligation? And it's exempt from taxation. That's essentially how it's defined. It's a debt that's exempt from taxation, okay? Obligation, exempt from taxation. Okay, so because Federal Reserve notes are obligations of the United States, they're quite simply debt. Okay, the United States codes listed above provide clear evidence within the United States Code that Federal Reserve notes are obligations of the United States, and that obligations are debt, and debt is exempt from taxation. Okay, these are big things to understand. They're debt instruments and they're exempt from taxation according to the United States Code and the Federal Reserve Act, okay? So thus, we can conclude there is no actual lawful money in circulation, only debt, until the demand for lawful money is made. Okay, so Section 16 of the Federal Reserve Act allows us to make the demand for lawful money. They shall be redeemed in lawful money on demand. Okay, and then we go to 12 United States Code subsection 411. Okay, it says the said notes, Federal Reserve notes, shall be obligations of the United States and they shall be redeemed in lawful money on demand at the Treasury Department of the United States. Okay, so that is, you know, the basic background of the money system that we're using, the Federal Reserve notes, and how the United States Code says what they are, which is obligations or debt, and that they're exempt from taxation. So what is a light bulb going off in your head? Because, when we think about the taxes that we're paying, we always say there's taxation is theft, right? They're taking money from you, and that's true. But there's a remedy for that, and it's built into these codes that I just mentioned. They're saying you shall redeem these in lawful money. So let's just make the clear distinction that a debt or an obligation is not lawful money. Okay, it's like essentially an IOU, and we're passing around these IOUs. But once we make that demand for lawful money, then it becomes actual money. And the other thing is, the Article 1, Section 10, Clause 1 of the Constitution of the United States states, no state shall make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts. So what they're saying right there is the only thing that can, that is actual real lawful money is gold and silver coin as a tender of payment of debts. Okay? So in layman's terms, lawful money redemption is a way of saying, you withheld all this money from me unlawfully. You seized it from me. I want it back. That's it. That's all lawful money redemption is. And this concept can be very, 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 helpful in your life to understand how to do this and how to file your tax returns this way, because it's the laws, the codes, the Constitution, even the Federal Reserve Act. They give us the ability to do this. So that's really what it is. I mean, once we can get back to paying everything in gold and silver, then that will be the real lawful money. But what we're saying is, you all the federal withholdings, the state withholdings, you can get those back once you make that lawful money redemption demand. It's a demand, okay? And so this can be a huge way to put the big banks out of business, essentially. So they would have to liquidate their hard assets. This would eliminate the whole national debt, and we would put the Federal Reserve Act out of business, because every time you get paid, whether your employer directly deposits into your account or maybe someone writes you checks, or whatever the case, if you're just signing on the back of your check, you're automatically endorsing the Federal Reserve. Okay, you're ordering up Fed credit as it is, because it's not lawful. It's just debt. Okay, so you're ordering up the Fed credit, and you're endorsing them, the Federal Reserve, and you're not making any sort of a demand until you actually go and file your tax returns. And at that point, you can make the demand. You'll get your withholdings back. Okay, I could say from personal experience, it does work. Okay, and all you have to do is structure your tax returns a certain way, and you include a little schedule, and you let them know what you're doing. You include a printout of 12 USC 411, and you tell them what you're doing, and you can give them all the laws and codes that I just mentioned, and you don't really have to go that above and beyond, because they'll know what you're doing, because other people are doing this, and then that way all those withholdings that were seized from you unlawfully, they will get returned plus interest. Okay, now, in crypto circles, we're looking at alternative, payment, non-trackable, traceable, non-central bank currencies, right? But lawful money redemption is a huge way of just utilizing the current system, but just making that demand and saying, we know that our wages and compensation is not taxable, because it says in the United States Code that if we're getting paid in Federal Reserve notes, they're obligations, and obligations are not our debt, and debt's not taxable. So we're just saying, we know the codes, we know the laws, we're making that demand for lawful money, we want our withholdings back, thank you. And so this is how you get to keep your, the 30 or 40% that they're taking from you, they're seizing from you unlawfully, okay? Because the Federal Reserve is neither federal nor reserve. It's a private foreign corporation, and they're funding wars, and they're obviously printing money and loaning it to our government. And so that's why it's an obligation of the United States. Okay, so they print the money, and then we're, the government is obligated to pay them back, and this gets into the bankruptcy of the 1930s and how we essentially got off the gold and silver standard at that point. And we used to have our notes used to be United States notes and Federal Reserve notes. It used to be sort of a dual currency, But then in the 70s we got completely off, and so it was just Federal Reserve notes. Now, if you look at your money, it's not money. If you look at your debt instruments, it just says Federal Reserve notes, and it used to say United States notes. So we're completely off the gold standard. We're just passing around IOUs. Obviously, now we have this crazy inflation going on. And I am no money expert, I'm no tax expert, but I can tell you from personal experience, personal firsthand knowledge, that lawful money redemption works and you can get your withholdings back. Okay, so that's a very powerful thing, and you're doing everything lawfully. Now, the one challenge is if you need to refinance your mortgage or if you want to get a new home loan, because banks are not familiar with these kind of scenarios. Not many people are doing these. So you have to, what I did was I prepared a little 2-page explanation, and I list all the codes. I list all the Federal Reserve Act and all these codes that give us the definitions of what these things actually are. And we're just saying, I know the definitions. I know people don't normally file their tax returns this way, but here's my explanation so you can see. Okay, and so you have to kind of explain it to underwriters if you are looking to get a new loan, but this is very possible. This is a very big thing that I don't think they want this information getting out. So I'm trying to just stick to what the codes say, okay? And again, I'm not giving tax advice, all right? This is just education and entertainment. But what I'm saying is all those withholdings from the state and federal, you can get them back. And that's powerful, especially in this time when, we're going through this hyperinflation and they're trying to eliminate the middle class, really, And so this is a way, if more people can do this, then we can, more underwriters will be familiar with these. Oh, yeah, they're doing the lawful money demand for, and the easier it'll be for all of us. And we can, again, take the power away from the big banks in the Federal Reserve, because all the big banks are Federal Reserve banks, right? So they're all in on this, the Federal Reserve, this private foreign corporation, and all the big banks, okay? Because this is really a banker war. That's what communism is. It's just the international corporations and bankers, plunging you into slavery. So just wanted to do this quick video today. And so what you do is, when you're filing your taxes, and I can get offline with people and help them with this, but you just, the only tricky thing is because your income is not an actual, income is taxable. You want to use compensation or wages, okay? So if your compensation is not redeemed in lawful money, they'll just tax it, right? They'll say, okay, you owe us for these taxes. But once you put through that demand for lawful money, then it shows up as an expense on your profit and loss, section 5, and then the other expense area. And so it's not really an expense, but it's not going to be your wages and compensation because it's not taxable. So it has to go somewhere. It has to go in another line item. And so it makes it look like you might have a loss, but you don't, because you just have to take out that lawful money redemption that is technically an other expense, but it's not another expense. So it's a little bit confusing, but there's just a way to structure your taxes that way. And all you have to do is, depending on how you get paid, so if you get paid via check, then all you do is just get a little stamp and put on the stamp, all transactions are redeemed in lawful money per 12 USC Section 411, comma, by, and then write your autograph. Okay, so you can do that on like 30 checks, copies of those. Always keep the original in a nice file, and then you send those copies in with your tax returns. And then so they see that you're doing that with all your forms of wages and compensation. So you're not endorsing the Federal Reserve. They see that you haven't endorsed the Federal Reserve and you're making that demand for lawful money every time you get paid, okay? And then so that's it. If you get direct deposit, you can go online and print up your actual sales or your the little payment thing. I forget what it's called, but there's always an online record of every paycheck you've gotten, right? So you would just print that up, stamp it. All transactions are redeemed in lawful money per 12 USC Section 411, comma, by, and then autograph, and then just do that to all your pay stubs. Keep the originals, make copies, and so you've made the demand right there. You've made the demand, and then you just include those in your tax returns, and you give them a little explanation of what you're doing, and you'll get all your withholdings back. So I don't recommend direct deposit. It doesn't matter. You can do direct deposit, but you just have to do what I said. Is you have to go into online, the web portal or whatever, and print up the receipt or the payment that where lists all the withholdings and everything like that. Just print it up. Yeah, it's not a big deal. So you can do that. But this is a real big way to keep all of your money, because you're just saying, hey, we're just passing around Federal Reserve notes. Federal Reserve notes are not real money. They're not lawful money. They're debt. Debt's not taxable. You can't be taking my money because this debt is not taxable. I'm making the demand for lawful money. That's it. You're just saying, what these are defined as, because I have the definitions under the Federal Reserve Act and United States codes. So I think this is definitely a big way to fight the system and keep all of your money, and it's just a way of you just prepare your tax returns a little bit different, and so it's not even that confusing, really. It's just a lawful money reduction, demand for lawful money reduction. So on my profit and loss, it would be on Section 5 as other expense, and then it adds back to your net income, which it can result in a loss. But that's when you explain to the underwriters, if you are searching for a new home or whatever, and you need a loan at some point, they're going to look at your tax returns and be like, well, what's this loss right here? What's this lawful money demand for lawful money? And then that's when you have a conversation with the underwriter and you send them the explanations, because underwriters, they need to understand that not every tax return is filed the same way, and they need to know the United States codes and the Federal Reserve Act. They need to, and they might not, because they're like there's a lot of button pushers and order followers in these banks and governments, municipal corporations and stuff. They see things one way, it fits in the box, and if it's outside of their box and scope, then they just decline it. I'm moving on to the next one. But if you have good credit and you're able to prove you make money, and you don't have a bunch of debt, and then it's just, they're going to see that you're a worthy borrower, and then it's just a matter of explaining to them, well, the reason why I have good credit and everything is because I'm able to get all the withholdings back that were seized unlawfully. I know what the Federal Reserve notes are. They're just debt. They're obligations, and you can't tax those. So I want my money back, and that's what I've been doing, and that's my position, is making lawful money demands. And here's the codes, United States codes, that lawfully allow me to do that. That's it. And so the reason why I bring up the underwriting aspect is because it's just a different way of doing your taxes, and everyone still wants to be able to purchase property, and you might want to buy a RV or whatever, and if it involves full underwriting and looking at your income, not income, your compensation and wages, your taxes, then you're going to want to be able to explain it. So you can reference this video and take notes and on all the U.S. codes I mentioned, and I'll just mention them real quick one more time. So you want to look up Section 16, Clause 1 of the Federal Reserve Act, okay? That's where it says that the Federal Reserve notes are obligations. You want to look up 18 U.S. Code Subsection 8. That defines that an obligation is a Federal Reserve note, okay? And then you want to look up, let's see, 31 U.S. Code 3124, that obligations are exempt from taxation, okay? And then the last one, you want to look up 12 U.S.C. 411. So 12 United States Code Subsection 411, the Federal Reserve, it says it right here. It's all in 12 U.S.C. 411. The said notes, Federal Reserve notes, shall be obligations, debt, and shall be redeemed in lawful money on demand at the Treasury Department of the United States. So obviously when you're doing your taxes and stuff, that's where you would go to the Treasury Department. When you're sending that in, you're making that demand, they know what you're doing, they give you all your money back. And just think if more people do that. Keep all your money, and you're more empowered with knowing the laws and codes that protect your ability to do that. It's not some crazy fringe thing that some people are just found some little crack in the system. It's in the code. And this goes back to a lot of the knowledge that I've been coming across lately is just people not reading the actual stuff, not digging in and researching. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people just want like the Cliff Notes version. They don't want to do the digging into the laws and the codes and it's all there. There's always remedy. The way the system is built is my understanding. I'll finish this up. The way the system is built is they know that they're the ones who are the architects of this system, the matrix. They know that it's an enslavement system, okay? But they've built in remedies to it. So we're not, and that remedy gives them immunity from liability. They're saying, listen, this is an oppressive slavery system, essentially, debt slavery system, essentially, but we're giving you remedy if you just look into it and study it, and you can dig your way out. And for there must be some spiritual law or something that says, as long as they give you your remedy, they're not liable for everything. So it's an empowering thing to realize that we don't always have to be victims. There are remedies built in. It's a matter of actually digging in and utilizing them and studying. And this goes with like what we're studying with jurisdictionary, how to be your own lawyer. It's a lot to take in to see how these corrupt courts work. But there actually is ways to do things and to structure pleadings and complaints and to get settlements, and there is ways to do it, but that's very similar to this whole thing. There's remedy built in. It's just a matter of uncovering it and then utilizing it. So that's my thing on lawful money redemption. Hopefully that helps, and I'll save this video. And again, this is not tax advice. This is only education and entertainment purposes, and I hope that helped. And if anyone has any questions, then I'll answer them real quick, but we'll get out of here. Let's see. I don't see any questions. Can someone comment the code section? Yeah, just watch this again. Take notes. It's is it a way? Who do I go to? Yeah, so there are CPAs that know how to do this. You just have to ask around and hey, ask your CPA, are you familiar with lawful money redemption? And structuring your tax returns that way. And then you can literally just read them these codes and say, this says that they can't tax me, so why am I allowing them to tax me and withhold money from me, or Federal Reserve notes. Yes, you can get all your withholdings back. And so I'm going to sign off for today. Hope everyone hangs in there, and hopefully this made sense. And if anyone has any questions, ping me up. I don't always get all to my my direct messages. They get overwhelming sometimes, but I'm happy to help. And that's Lawful Money Redemption.